Guys, so if you've been watching my day in the life video, you will have seen earlier that I dropped off Dominic and Faraji in town to get their new school uniform. Now, I didn't stay with them because when I do, the price goes up because I'm a white man, so they hike the price up because they presume you've got money. So I left them with some money to buy a school bag for Faraji, school shoes and shirts. And they're both starting a new school tomorrow. So it needed doing, and I just thought best I do it because there was no other member of staff to go with them. I'll trust them with the money. So I encountered a small problem. When Dominic returned, he had like change of around about £3. So he decided he would buy himself these shoes without asking. So they are a very snazzy and stylish pair of shoes. However, the money that is donated for Dominic and Faraji is, well, the money for Dominic is donated by a lady called Nora, and Faraji was actually initially sponsored by my parents. It was the first child I ever helped. My parents are the ones that sponsored him. So also, on top of that, since Dominic came into my care, my parents send a monthly donation for his targeted nutrition. And because he's shifting schools this year, they're contributing, well, the money my mother fundraised by running into the ocean dressed as a Christmas tree is being put towards Nora's money to help move Dominic to the new school, because the school he's in are not tolerant of HIV children, unfortunately. The government school that he's been in are not, they're not great. One morning he was too tired when he got to school, so they made him walk up and down a field with a big rock in his arms. Education sometimes in Tanzania needs a lot of work. And to cut back to this story, he bought these without permission, and I explained that the persons who donated money, which was then handed to me, did so to improve the lives of people here in Tanzania, and they didn't do it so as someone can look more stylish. And he understood, but at the same time I think I kind of realised that maybe he has a hard position, because teaching him the value of money is a tricky thing when he's came from nothing. This is a boy who's lived on flour, water and salt for a lot of his life. Nutritionally, when he got here, his body was a mess because of the way he'd lived and how he'd eaten. So he's had nothing, you know, literally had nothing, and he's come from an abusive background to having a very comfortable life. So maybe I'm in part to blame for this, for not teaching him the true value of money. Not letting him carry on. I haven't allowed him to carry on working and stuff. Like, all Tanzanian children do some sort of work, and I haven't done that with Dommy because he gets so tired. So I'm going to start reintroducing him doing a few jobs around Featherstail, just easy jobs, so he can start getting his head around the fact that money doesn't come for free. And in the meantime, because I have this pair of shoes, he has decided that he will go into Chira and he will find one of the many children who don't have shoes. And Dominic already has 3 pairs of shoes, so he doesn't need a 4th pair of shoes. So we've decided that he will go into Chira and he will give these shoes to a child who doesn't have shoes. And then indeed those persons who donated money that was then handed to us to improve the quality of life of a child, then the money that's been wasted on these shoes will improve the quality life of a child, because they'll get a pair of shoes out of it. So, and hopefully Dominic will learn a lesson, because he'll get to look straight at a child that's living how he used to live, and I'm hoping that'll allow him to remember why it is that he should always think of others before he thinks of himself. And this is what I will always teach these children, is that if you think of others before yourself, this is very much how I see it as well, then you tend to end up thinking of yourself anyway, but you think of yourself in a more nurturing way, in a less selfish way. So if you always have a concern for the well-being of someone else rather than your own desires, you're going to be a better human being. It's as simple as that. You can see that on the world over. If more of these overgrown children who insist on buying £1 million cars and stuff like this, and toys, you know, ultimately creating a marketplace where people can engineer very expensive toys for people who haven't grown up yet, then the world would be a much better place. But it's because those people are looking at what they want, their desires, which is what Dominic's done today on a very small scale. As I say, I'm going to work my best to educate him on that, but slowly, because he's come from nothing. So I mean, I'm not going to be too hard on him. So hopefully, when he finds the child he's chosen to have these shoes, I'll get some footage of it, because it's always nice to see. And I know it's quite sad to hear actually that that's what it's like, but this is what it's like. I remember I've sat in places like the doctor's surgery here, and I've watched groups of children, 5, 6 at a time, coming in and they don't have shoes on. And I'm powerless because I don't have the resources to provide shoes for everyone. But the amazing Jade is supposed to be coming over here with some shoes that grow. So actually, on the subject of shoes, we might be able to hand out some. Well, we should be able to hand out a lot of pairs. But what she's doing is having school children fundraise for an individual pair of shoes, and then they follow the journey of their shoe and which child it went to. And these shoes last like 5 years because they grow with your foot, because you can adjust them. I'll let you Google it so you can see anyway. Shoes that grow. Amazing invention. So yeah. Dummy. Hopefully we'll learn a lesson from this and not go out buying really rather very, very strange shoes. But, oh bless him. I'm learning to be a parent here, so if you see any mistakes in the way that I'm dealing with things, let me know, because I'm new to this. Yeah, I've got 9 children and I've only got 1 year's worth of experience dealing with them all. So any tips and advice, it's very welcome. Okay, bye guys.